Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. I'm so excited and I can feel the excitement in the air today. This is the last episode for this year. Is the last, does not mean that it's the least. We're going to have everybody, all the big wigs are in the house today. I'm so excited. Good morning, good day, good evening, everybody. Welcome. As you know, my name is Kemi Amushan, popularly known as Lady K. I'm your moderator again for today. And with me, the formidable team that has been working behind the scene. So today is the recap of all that we have been doing since this started in June 2021. Welcome again. And remember as usual, please turn off your, you can reduce the volume or turn it off so it does not disturb us. Everyone is permanently on mute until you need to speak. If you need to speak, you can physically raise up your hands, or you use the chat button, or you use the emoji to signify that you want to speak. When we see your hands raised up, when it's your turn, we'll let you know. Please, today is such an interactive session. We're having some people among us today that are going to tell us what they have gained since we started. And we have all the big wigs that have been presenting. They are going to be speaking. It's not like the usual one that we used to do that one person is speaking. No, today we are having like a roundtable discussion for what is it we have gained this year, what we have been able to impact in people, and what we hope to see happen next year. What are you going to do with the information that we have impacted in you? That is what today is all about. You are all very welcome. And at this junction, I'm going to bring in our host that has been hosting us for this program since it started in June. Who is this person? If I go again to start talking about him, he has over 30 years of professional experience. He has a strong background in this and that. It's going to be like a repetition. So we all know who we are talking about. However, before we go ahead, where are we coming from? Who are we? I'm going to share my screen briefly. Can you see me? Can you see my screen, please? Let me know if you see my screen. You can raise up your hand if you see my screen.
For now, we are seeing you.
You are seeing me.
Not the screen yet.
Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes, Lady K.
Thank you. So we need to briefly know why we're here. This is our Olufemi Boyede. Where did this come from? Where did this program start from? Who is he? He's an international trade consultant, a public advocate, organizational improvement, and all that. However, his key vision for this program is about international cross-border trade, about sharing information, giving information, and hoping that the information will be used as needed. A lack of information leads to business stagnation, or worse still, deterioration. That is from Gain or Pack. And on that premise, that is how this program started. And I bring into you today our host, someone that has been described. I actually would say what someone said about you behind your back, Mr. Boyede. He said, Mr. Olufemi Boyede is a brain that the Nigerian community, the Nigerian government is not really aware of yet. He used that word aware of. I don't know whether it's true or not, but I believe everybody is aware of who you are, but we really do not. We are really, really not tapping into what we have. You are a brain, uncommon brain. Thank you folks so much for ensuring that we get the information that we need to ensure we do not have business stagnation. I hereby bring to you Femi Boyede. You have the floor, sir.
Well, what can I say? If I knew anything near this was going to be said during our rehearsal, I would have definitely opposed it. You know me for that.
Yes,
But all the same, I want to thank you and the team and everybody for the very kind words. Unfortunately, my chocolate color definitely did not allow you guys to see how I was blushing blue and pink. But I appreciate, and more importantly, I don't know if I'm a brain. I only know that I have God's grace to be able to attract experts and brains and people who are happy to freely and willingly share the knowledge that God has given them. And of course, by the time you are through listening to a handful of, not handful really, a plethora of experts that we have had since June and who have also very readily, individually, I didn't spend 3 minutes with any of them, I can assure you. As soon as I invited, they all came. So I want to appreciate all of you. You said I have more than 30 years experience. Great, but I also have people who are still who are still senior to me, and even on this platform, I have people like Alaji Sidi Aliu. You wouldn't know that he was my Oga in the Export Promotion Council, in case you don't know. There are about 2 or 3 other directors there who were my bosses, who are also on this platform. Engineer Olo Okere, we said it jokingly, but I mean it. We really, truly appreciate you. Titi Ojo, you've just joined. Elizabeth. God has also added I don't know what to call him. I don't know the adjective. Reginald Nabwe, Nigerian, but based in Ghana, who is a versatile, full of knowledge. He's with us today. So I'm not going to actually spend too much time. It's a recap. So I'm going to, Lady K, can you please help me? Okay, I have share screen here. Let me, okay. So this is my screen clear?
yes, it's clear. Just scroll down and hit on that glass something to make it bigger. Yes.
Which glass? This one?
That one, yeah. Just hit it.
But I click now, it's not doing anything.
Click again.
Okay. All right. So where are we?
Okay. Just
So it's the journey so far. We started this in June 2021. We're already in December. It's almost like it's been 100 years. And I want to thank God for the depth of knowledge that we have been able to share in this program during our journey thus far. So we have had over 400, what happened? 400 individuals and businesses, people directly reached. We currently have 31 video clips on YouTube on talking trade alone. Because if you went to YouTube to Google Export Digest, you probably have about 100 other videos in our previous contributions to public knowledge on export. But right now we have hundreds of people viewing, making references to this video every month. YouTube has been very, very supportive in sharing the knowledge that people have contributed here. We decided actually to make the December edition a recap because, In my experience as an international trade consultant and working with the international development agencies, I have learned that for technical assistance, which you can view this platform as, to be effective, it must be demand driven. So the idea is we are going to weave the 2022 programs as a response to what the participants, are demanding. But we thank God that it's early days yet, but we are still focused on outdoing our current tempo as we set a pace for sharing knowledge on trade in all its ramifications. I recall when we started the first edition, I did explain that this is not just about entrepreneurs, it is not also simply about the theories of trade. It is about bringing best practices, discussing challenges not as indictments, but as a pathway to creating solutions such that policymakers and regulatory authorities who are opportune to either join us directly or to watch some of our editions, or to whom we send some of the summaries, will be able to formulate strategies that will enhance individual companies and countries' participation in international trade. It's easy but erroneous to think that talking trade is only about the Nigerian exporter. We have on the platform people from other countries. We have been getting feedback from as far back as Austria, Australia, and closer home, we actually have members from Zimbabwe, from Tanzania, from Ghana, and more recently, of course, you've been seeing people from the Africa Development Bank and from the AFCFTA Secretariat. So I thank you very much. We have a national president of National Association of Nigerian Traders, who is actually a Nigerian, but a Nigerian citizen but an indigene of almost all the countries of Africa, as he goes around to contribute to policy formulation and strategy. So that's who we are and what we've done so far. As a recap, in June, we started with why trade matters. It was important to set the environment. So Dr. Ken Ukoha, who I just spoke about, the president of the National Association of Nigerian Traders, was the deserved first guest speaker on this forum. And of course, participants will remember how this erudite man took us through the imperatives, the critical importance of trade to countries, to traders, and to companies. In July, Madam Titi Ojo, the acting executive secretary of Network of Practicing Non-Oil Exporters of Nigeria, who is also a very versatile export readiness consultancy deliverer in Nigeria, took us through tips for successful engagement in international trade. In August, we had a member of the National Institute, founder and chairman of Procia NG, one of the richest reference points on investment, trade, and industry in Nigeria. He took us through strategizing to optimize trading with the African Continental Free Trade Agreement and area, what SMEs must know. In September, we looked at scaling the hurdles in the export business, and deliberately the September edition brought in a player, somebody whose products had been rejected, somebody who has almost had her importer try to play the duping game on her. And so it was great to share the experiences that we all sometimes feel while we are trying to engage in export trade. It was Mrs. Elizabeth Nwankwo, the CEO of Oakland Best Foods, and one of the reference resources on export trade in Nigeria. October, we had our August visitor. I'm laughing because anybody who was on about 10 to 5 minutes before this particular edition will know what we're talking about. Engineer Titus Olufemi, a patriot, and somebody I know, and I thank God for blessing me with him as a friend. He's the president and CEO of the US Africa Trade Council, and they've been doing wonderful. Of course, I recall the vibrant feedback from all participants in October when they listened to Engineer Olufemi presenting trading with the USA, opportunities, regulations, and compliance imperatives. If we talk that, I mean, our moderator, Lady K, talked about the importance of knowledge and how the absence or inadequacy of it can stagnate or frustrate businesses. Engineer Olufemi actually did an explicit dissection of what a budding entrepreneur must know about trading with the USA, exposing all the opportunities. And in November, we had the African Growth and Opportunity Act opening Africa SMEs to a new world of business opportunities. And our speaker was none other than Karadialo, the AGOA specialist at the West Africa Trade and Investment Hub in Dakar. The West Africa Trade and Investment Hub, if you recall, is a USAID funded project. And that is to tell you the extent to which the program has gone. And now we are beginning to look at bringing to your stable as much as possible from the international development agencies. Hopefully we'll be having somebody from the AFDB early in the year to also, that African Development Bank has actually forayed into every aspect of economic activity on the African continent that can help the individual and the enterprise to actually create wealth and improve their social well-being. In January, like I said, Dr. Ken Ukoha took us through quite a lot about the imperatives of trading, and we have captured just a little bit, just the same thing I did for every one of our speakers. We just tried to summarize what we thought was the focus and the takeaway that people will get. I'm just probably not going to be reading this comprehensively. You can have access to what we think and probably refresh your notes. So Dr. Ukoha, of course, told us everybody is a trader. And to be successful, you need to equip yourself. He talked about, again, like I said, he bestrides consultancy to governments across Africa. So governments must provide support, but actors must also take their destiny in their hands by investing heavily to prepare for international trade. He talked briefly about the AFCFTA again. And then we had the highlights from Titi Ojo. She talked about international trade and the fierce competition in the environment, and advised exporters must build capacity to play competitively. Titi Ojo stressed the importance of export readiness capacity and therefore planning. Integrity is key, she said, and of course, Titi Ojo used the opportunity to explain how and why it is important to join active associations, building synergy. And of course, she invited all people, participants, to join the network of practicing non-oil exporters of Nigeria. Let me pause to say that we have almost all those speakers here, and they will be going through one or two key points that they had talked about, especially to help us round up the year and prepare ourselves for better trading. So our brother, our chairman, our friend, Mr. Awoyemi took us through the AFCFTA. Coincidentally, they had a comprehensive, very comprehensive project thesis that it was just by coincidence they were working on at that time for the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies in Nigeria. So that that presentation is actually a very rich reference material. He talked about several issues, and I will encourage you to refer to that presentation to get, you can always refer to it. It's a reference material, like I said. Mrs. Nwakwo, the victim who became the victor and who has now become an advisor because I think it's a Yoruba proverb that says the horse that is coming behind will do well to look at the one that has gone ahead. So if there are potholes and loopholes, they will then easily avoid it. So we're happy that she came up as a guinea pig and allowed us to learn from her experiences. She talked about several issues, really, very many of them, and presented the various hurdles. And of course, the whole idea, because it was solution-oriented, was to call for ample incentive policy and support, and the streamlining of trade policies, while also advising exporters on the things that they must do to avoid rejection, pitfalls, and the usual risks associated with exporting. I can't talk enough about Engineer Oluokere's presentation. I personally refer to it from time to time, even now. And he presented the opportunities, of course, in a very clear manner, explaining a lot of SMEs from developing countries shy away from even here. Somebody, I think is my friend Obio Ramadu, who says if you want to hide anything away from the Nigerian SME, put it in a book, because it is almost certain that they will not read. Well, this is not to denigrate anybody, but to say that if you took the time to look at Engineer Oluokere's presentations, you will wonder why Africa is not actually the one sitting in control of the import market in the USA. And by contrast, also looking at it as a big opportunity. Somebody says when people are talking problems, he sees opportunities. So the USA market provides endless potentials for exporters from Africa. Engineer Oluokere said, working with established resources and consultants will help to reduce the challenges of penetration. And of course, no success without planning and work. I know that as Engineer Oluokere's personal philosophy, and I must say that I take inspiration from him almost on a daily basis. And then we had Karadialu. I think participants could almost take him off the screen and go home with him. But of course, the presentation detailed, opened the eyes of participants to the vast support that the West Africa Trade and Investment Hub provides in terms of facilitating access to the AGOA market. AGOA simply is a specialized opportunity that allows African products, eligible African products, to benefit from duty-free treatment when they are going into the USA. Of course, not only his presentation, but the West African Trade and Investment Hub website is available as reference material for our participants. So we think by our own self-examination that we have delivered engaging discussions on international trade. We've shared various components and added value tips for businesses, offered policy strategies to individual corporations and governments at state and federal levels, and a compilation of soon to be published trade secret handout is in the offing. The team did not permit me to leak this secret, but I'm sharing it. Don't tell them or don't let them hear. As Fela will say, the thing where I won't tell you na confidential matter. Don't tell anybody outside. So they must not hear that we are compiling all of these things that we'll be sending out soon as a trade secrets handout. Yeah, let me end this by appreciating and presenting again to you the team. They've done wonderfully well. I can tell you, I can assure you that it's only, I think my Bible says, two cannot work together unless they agree. And somehow we found one another. And I can assure you, without you paying me anything, that every member you see here is doing what they are doing on a volunteer basis, pro bono, and we share the same philosophy of sharing the knowledge that we receive from an entity that is divine and greater than all of us. Lady K, Kemi Amusha, we appreciate you. Sheifumi is in flight right now. I think he has some
He
high
has
level
joined us.
engagement. Oh, he has joined?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God for flying messes. And Sheifumi Adebote is a diplomat in Nigeria there. I think he's a youth ambassador. A lot of you guys will know him. There's this medical doctor, medical doctor turned entrepreneur, turned trade expert, but fantastic engine room. I don't know whether she's the engine room, she's the Kickstarter or the battery of talking trade, but please, I appreciate Dr. Oluwatoyin Taiwo. And of course, we have our media. Somehow, I don't know how he manages to create time for us. Benga Oshinaike, he's the publisher of Church Times, and I'm sure that you guys know that publication. So for him to find time as he's flying around the entire African continent to still put together our media components and hypes, I want to say thank you to everybody. It's the end of the year, and I can only pray. Permit me, this is not a church service or anything, but because I personally know that this can only have been God, I want to say thank you and ask that same God to reward members of this wonderful team for what they have done. Sorry, I took longer than the time that we projected for this, but I think we can only flow together if we operate on the same frequency. So it's important to share, to communicate the vision and the processes that we have taken so that when we now go into the discussion session, I have, like I said, with me, who are going to be talking, some of you guys, the players, the people who have benefited, but I have also kindly invited the kind presence of most of these technical experts. So we have on standby Alhaji Sidi Aliu, Ken Ukoha, Titi Ojo, Reginald Nabwe, I believe Yasil Dahir will be joining us. I think he's in a conference somewhere, but he assured me he will be joining to throw one perspective or the other. We also have Lady Mrs. Liz Nwakwo, I believe Ada Fayette from Paris, and the Chimere Ojonu, yeah, he's one of those who accepted. Kola Aderibigbe, young, versatile engine room of logistics in Nigeria. He's in a function, but I know that he will be looking in. And please, I appreciate all of you who are here. And yeah, wish you very, very productive last session of the year. Thank you.